Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities in Miniatures, and it's that time of the week for our weekly painting process. And when I say our, I just mean mine, because Mr. Sparkle Trout has been busy, slowly but surely painting like one whole squat. And I know he's going to eventually get some more of them done, so hopefully we'll get to see some of his League of Votan guys and Mantic and Papsicles and every other assorted shorter type person that he has been painting. And me, well, I'm going to apologize because I painted a crap ton of stuff this week. I really did, and most of it not that well, but I don't really care. So if you don't like that, too bad. Stop watching. No, I got some interesting stuff. It's definitely an eclectic mix. So we're going to start off with the most mundane bit of it, and that are these Perry Foot Knight guys. So this is for Team Blue. And I need to fix his face up. So I have had an ongoing thing of painting up various generic Perry guys in reds and blues. And we're eventually going to use them for demoing some Dragon Rampant games. Lion Rampant. Well, maybe both. And speaking of dwarves and squats and short folks, we've got this fine fellow from Broken Anvil Minis. I had a thing. I'm like, okay, where did he come from? This is like their Sky Dwarf Hobgoblin Air Pirate set. And while I do need to do some fixing up, one of the nice things about filming these is that this is kind of like my first run for a lot of these models, and then a lot of times I will go back and fix things up. I'm not happy with the quilted part of his jacket right there, or the metal on his hand. And I know it's super zoomed in, and I don't really care though. I want to fix that up. But I really like this model. They had a whole bunch of various sky dwarves. And not just dwarves. They had like these hang glider riding hobgoblins and a whole bunch of other stuff. But I liked this admiral type fellow. And I was trying to do him up in Mobius type colors because of that conical hat he's got. I don't know if I really matched it. Mobius stuff. I repainted this guy so many times. And maybe that's why the paint's all gunked up. At least, you know what? From a distance, he doesn't look as bad. It's just when you get all up close and personal that it gets really noticeable. And then I got this friend of his, also from Broken Anvil Minis. And this was in their Misadventurers set that had like a whole bunch of various oddly injured and goofy looking adventurer types. So he looks like a lizard in there, and he's quite rotund and portly, and he's carrying potions. And he's got a nice black mage conical hat type thing with a bell on it. I don't know what's going on, but I love it. And I was very fearful that he was going to be super lopsided. I don't even know how he's holding this thing. Just the proportions of his body are so goofy. I had to get him painted. He is a little bit shorter than our Sky Dwarf friend. They're both pretty big by human comparisons, but then again, the Perry stuff is a little bit on the shorter side. And these are 3D printed, so you can always go around and fix that stuff up. Something non-printed finally went ahead and painted up one of the Lady Gunfighters for Dead Man's Hand from Great Escape Games. Had a chance to preview these, and they were a nice little kit, and I obviously didn't do the best job of getting rid of that gloss varnish on her. I think she turned out pretty decent. Actually, she scales pretty well with the Perry stuff, so if you really wanted to get bizarre and have like, a Roland gunslinger in knightly armor or something, you could absolutely, maybe not with the female set, but with the male set, or both, who knows, make your own funky stuff up, swap some guns on those bodies, and some plumes and helmets. Fun times. Oh, and speaking of other random things, no we're not. This is one of the Otokodate from Zenitz Kensei line. So the Otokodate were supposed to be like very flashy showman type dudes who were in the kind of kabuki realm. So I think that's where they originated from. And he's got his manly Otoko kanji there on his back. Didn't bother painting his face Because I think when you get the nice look at it with the shadows of his hat over his head, it looks just perfect. So got that guy done. He's a little on the shorter side, though. I was a little bit bummed out about that. He's pretty much in line with, like, the Perry historical stuff, which is cool. I mean, it fits in the Kensei line, which is, you know, what he's from. Grabbing an actual Kensei model I've got handy there. You can see, I mean, the hat does give him some more physical presence. I don't know where I put him, but I have a Bushido guy from the Shiho clan that was kind of in a similar pose. Actually, he's just a little bit taller. Not this same figure, obviously, but a different Bushido figure. Let's get these out of the way. So we got him done. Actually, we got a couple samurai done. You may have seen this guy already show up on Instagram. This is from Titan Forge. This is for the month of September, actually, and I literally printed him the day he became available, even though it was god-awful hot that day. It has sucked weather-wise down here in Southern California, but I absolutely had to paint this. I didn't even bother painting the face because you can't really see it, and I totally painted it up in crab colors for Legends of the Five Rings. I figured just, he's so heavily, thickly armored, and with that big ol' club that looks like it might actually function as a shotgun or something. I really like this figure. I could not wait. I had to get him painted. And I managed to break off the little tassel that's supposed to be here. It did print originally. I completely broke it, so I tried to clip everything down to make it look better. This guy is absolutely massive, too, in comparison. I mean, our Zenith friend there doesn't even go up to his waist. It's like at his chest. I was going to say waist. I don't know my anatomy. Grabbing another Titan Forge guy. So this dude's printed. This is from one of the very first. No, was he from the Yokai release, I think, that Titan Forge did. So even this dude's kind of stunted in comparison to our big, crabby, armored friend here. I was really disappointed. He was the only, like, honest-to-goodness samurai that got released in the current set. But I really like it. So I had to paint it. I think it came out pretty good. I wanted to go with a very minimalist paint job. Not a lot of different colors. I think it turned out okay. Alright. Let's see what else. I was kind of on a samurai theme this week, to be honest. And a lot of this stuff I'd started earlier, and I think I just ended up finishing it all around the same time. This is a Samurai Dragonborn model from Dragon Trapper's Lodge. And now that I've printed him, he's on a 25mm base. You can see he actually fits in the squares there on the table. I wish I had printed him even bigger. I want to do one like on a 32mm base. I think that would be cool. It's a really nice figure. I think it deserves to have some larger details, and I really wish that light would stay functioning. Come on. And then another random samurai. This guy is a remix of a Kyoshu Neko model. And again, I kind of cheated and didn't really bother painting his face. Kind of gave him a little armored mask. I don't know if he's supposed to be wearing one. To be honest, I don't really care. The red on his scarf there kind of matches with the orange on his armor. I don't know what I was doing with the armor colors, to be honest. I don't remember who this is actually based on now. That helmet makes me think Ma Chao from Dynasty Warriors, though. That's for sure. One of the community went and made a bunch of these remixes. Slowly, I'm painting my way through them. And to accompany him, an honest-to-goodness ninja. I think there is still quite the market for samurai stuff in the 3D printing realm. I love what Kyoshu Neko is doing, but they're like the only ones that are really going at it regularly. I mean, yeah, every now and then we'll get stuff from like Titan Forge or other companies, but nobody's really done it as consistently or as thoroughly, I have to say, as Kyoshu Neko. They've got, you know, an entire army at this point. Alright, jumping back into the realms of physical minis. We got Lord Galehot here. I believe that was his name. This is the Nightmare edition of Hoffman from Malifaux, one of their yearly special releases. I think I did a video on him recently. I actually just tracked down the box set for the whole crew, so I'll have to get around to working on that, but I just did a very simple paint job. I think it came out okay. It was a fun figure. I think the actual crew is going to be a lot more fun in terms of just model variety and uniqueness. A couple more actual physical kits. 2 more random lizard men. And I don't know what happened to this guy. He lost an arm in the Great Lizard War. It looks like it's been replaced by an AdMech one. And a Space Wolves shoulder pad, and some kind of medical supplies, and an AdMech backpack. Because why not, right? Our friend here is a little bit more modestly armed. I think this is one of the guns that was actually in the lizard kit. The knives, I have no idea where they came from. The bone, either. The sword is off of one of Warlord's English Civil War guys. Gotta have some nice armaments to go fight the British. The Bulldogs, I should say. A random Rocket Pig Games sculpt. I have no idea what this guy's called anymore. I want to say it was like a Void Stalker Assassin or something like that. And I didn't notice until now that I actually had a misprint on his blade there. It doesn't continue. I would assume they're supposed to be the same. I don't know what happened. I truly don't. And other than his size being quite large, that is a large base, like 32 millimeter at least, probably. I think he's a really nice figure. Yeah, it's a 32. Rocket Pig Games stuff is one of those, like, groups of models that I love to just go dig through. And I've purchased way too many, and it's just like, I know I don't get around to printing and showing them off enough, but it's like, there's always something interesting and unique that they've got in their catalog, and it's so massive at this point. There's so much interesting stuff that they've made. The only thing is, I keep getting that pancaking issue, like that extra layer on the base. And that is the only real unfortunate thing with these guys, because they tend to be made for FDM printers, and I'm still waiting on my brother to figure out how to work his FDM printer. I fear one day I'll have to get one of my own. Actually, speaking of Rocket Pig Games, they should have a Kickstarter coming up pretty soon. And if it starts this week, maybe I will stick that in the description down below as well. And in case you're looking for any of these models, we'll have those links down below. What other stuff? Like I said, it just keeps going. This, I think, was originally one of the new modified Black Knight bodies from the Maker's Cult. Or no, maybe it was a Thunder Warrior body and a Black Knight head, or a mixture of the two. That's probably what it was. And I think it actually works really well, or maybe it was just the new Thunder Warrior. No, that's not what they're called, actually. What are they called? Tempest Legions or something like that? They've got a name for it. Tempest Legions. Tempest something. But it's a mix of Black Knight and Tempest Legion parts, I think. And it came out really cool. Very heavily armored. I like that blank slate of a face mask. Pretty good Primaris-sized model, if that's something you wanted to do, is replace all of your regular Marines. Of course, at this point, Maker's Cult has so many extensive lines of their own unique soldiers, and all of the various offshoots of armor, loadouts, weaponry, mission roles. You'll find something interesting there, I promise. Alright. So, Herkes Minis has been just doing for fun a bunch of Pokemon sculpts, and I couldn't help myself. So, unfortunately, I jacked up every single one of these trying to support them myself, and I think they released actual supported ones. I was just like, let's give it a shot. So I know this is I don't even know the English names. This is Nuo. I know that in Japanese, because I remember that one. He's big. I got this mob over here trying to get back on the screen. And then we have a Waninoko. I did not do the best job on the eyes. I apologize. Waninoko being appropriately small. They are different shades of blue. And a Hitodemon. Is it like Starmie or Starryu or something in English? I don't even know. That camera's being funky today. And then I want to say this is actually a original figure that they did. It's like a samurai Oni type girl to hang out with them all. So Herkes is one of the few that's really hitting those nostalgic notes for me when it comes to JRPG type stuff. So you might want to check them out if that's something you're into. And believe it or not, I'm still not done. God dang it. Okay. These two. So this is an interesting one. I got to go back and fix the skin tones on her. I'm not super happy with it. This is part of the Magical Girl Assault line of figures, and I totally wanted to paint her up like an Arknights type figure, because that's what it reminds me of, by Heriberto of Capsule Chibi fame, who is doing this for Marchin Atelier, which is also with the guys from Ignition Core. So I know they've been working on this lineup of very Japanese blend of aesthetics here. So they had some schoolgirls, and I had to try printing one. Not the best paint job, and my wife criticized, which was like, well, that's not what the right uniform would look like, blah, blah, blah. I didn't care. It was similar to the school that she went to, and so she had to reprimand me on that. But this is from the Pan-Asian faction. There's a couple of different factions they've already released at this point, and I want to say that they actually did do some physical models, and I'll try to get a link for that. I know I've seen them somewhere, so if you don't want to print them yourself, and they got a bunch at this point, I have just got to get around to printing them. Those are out there. Definitely something fun, and I gave a couple to my brother, so hopefully he'll do some justice to those models and actually do a better job than me. Okay, this is something that I've been talking about doing for some time. I have been saying I wanted to paint the Ash Waste Nomads. Well, I went and I finally did it. And I made them suitably filthy and grimy, and I have to turn the lighting up to show that they actually did get painted and there's more than one color. I really like these guys. I think these guys, much like just about everything in Necromunda, can be totally used for anything else on the tabletop. Space Station 0, Planet 28. What's that one? Space Weird. God, I don't know. I've lost count of how many various rule sets I've got. So I think I did about half the box. We'll get to the rest eventually. I should probably do them soon while I kind of vaguely remember the colors that I used. I couldn't tell you the exact name, but I could point out which bottles I used. It's kind of sad. I love these guys. They are so grimy and bizarre looking. I don't know if they're human. Don't really care. Doesn't really even matter. There's just so much weird stuff on them. You've got pipes, you've got wires, you've got, armor padding, furs, cloth, stitching, masks. There's just a ton of stuff going on with them. Very fun. And one more. Hopefully I will get around to the rest of them. I think these are supposed to be missiles on his back. Unfortunately, he's not carrying the missile launcher, and I didn't use the other decorative bits. Maybe he's just an ammo porter. I don't know. And finally, because this video has been going on way too long now, it's not a week around here that I don't get another Kingdom Death model done. This is Badar, or Badar. I'm not sure how his name's pronounced, but he certainly looks cool. The men of Kingdom Death are a absolute rarity, and I really like the fact that he's got a bit of a Middle Eastern flair going on there. Not the best paint job on his pants either, mind you, but hey, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit, as my students like to say. Even though they do. So yeah, this is one of those photo resin ones, and I did not do the best job of cleaning up the edges of his cloak there. And I'm not even 100% sure if I painted him correctly, but hey, you know what? You live and you learn, and I think it turned out all right. If you're curious to see what any of this looks like, I'll be posting pictures of all this stuff on Instagram over the next few days, so do take a look there if you haven't. And like I said earlier, we will have links to everything below. Dang, when you look at how much stuff I got done, it kind of is A little bit more impressive than I thought. Believe it or not, there was stuff that I didn't finish and almost finished this week too, and I just didn't get to it all. So, a nice little haul, and hopefully if there's anything there that looks of interest to you guys, do take a look and grab it yourselves. And hopefully everybody out there is staying safe and hopefully not having nuclear warm weather like we were in Southern California. And let's get those models painted, shall we? So with that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and I apologize for going over the 20-minute mark, and hopefully we'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.